listening to the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45.
My name is TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee.
What's going on, man?
We just had our solar eclipse. We had an eclipse, I don't know if solar or lunar, but it was a nice day out. So I got to ride, uh, get some miles in just for a little bit, but it felt good out there with some warmer weather, where I don't have to worry about layering up so much. But we're getting better. It's race week. Can't complain.
Nice, nice. Well,
But how about yourself?
um, I did not go check out the eclipse. I saw like a lot of people did, and I kind of felt bad for a little bit that I didn't go do it. But it's not my thing. I've come to terms with that. So I was like the
It
I was,
happens every once in a while.
yeah, no, I know all that too. Well, it happened, I think, in 2017 or something like that, or early, recently, in recent times. Um, well, no, I think it's one of those things that if you haven't experienced it, and you know, probably should try it once in your life, as they say. And if you're one of those, if you like that kind of stuff, space and you got a telescope or telescopes and you look into the stars all the time, then you're out there doing a thing. Um, but I'd rather go look at motorcycles, man. So that I come to terms with.
Hey, I mean, I didn't like travel far for it. There's some people who flew or
Oh, for
drove
sure,
miles
yeah.
just to go to a location. I mean, it wasn't too dark when it happened compared to some videos I saw, but I didn't
Ru-
go too big on it.
Exactly. I mean, like I said, I've seen it. I've checked them out before, but that's not my thing. So I'm okay. Not missing out on it. But I just see some cool photos of folks and some of the photographers that go to the track and take photos of bikes and stuff like that on the track. Some of these guys they took some photos and posted them. So it's definitely cool to see. It's breathtaking. It's beautiful. All that stuff. But I think I was hitting tennis balls yesterday with my daughter. When it's,
That's progress too. So
yeah, you know what it is. It's priorities, man, and stuff to do. So if I was doing nothing, I would have looked up. But the schedule's already jam packed anyway, and I have to get as you're always trying to manage your time as best as possible, but trying to get better at it.
right.
So, with that said, this is not that kind of show where we talk about space and all that fun stuff. So let's get into what we normally do on the Be Forever Cool podcast, man. We just talk about motorcycle racing, and lots of news happening in MotoGP. Lots of news happening all around the world when it comes to motorcycle stuff. There's a lot of crazy stuff. I don't even think we have enough time in one show to get into everything. I think we might have to start doing a couple of shows a week or something just to cover some of the other topics beside MotoGP, World Superbike, because at the country levels, there's a lot of motorcycle racing. BSB just had their test in. Australian Superbike just kicked off their season. So there's and Motor America about to kick off our season. Well, I'm not in it, but I'm in America uh, in a few weeks as well. So we got MotoGP. I think before we talk about what's going to happen in Coda, Fabio Quartararo inked I believe a 2-year deal with Yamaha.
Oh yeah. Uh, we talked about it on one of the last shows of any moves to be made of where places may fall, riders may fall, and we was talking about Fabio or where he might go, and it was only a select few, and it's good to see that he re-signed. I mean, I'm sure the money was there, but there's something that they guarantee that they can get this thing developed, and I'm sure he's all for it. He's a hard rider, so I'm happy for him.
So, do you think it's they're sorting out the bike is the reason he signed, or was it from what I understand, MotoGP, they're like the Secret Service. You don't really know what's going on, who makes what kind of what. So there's people saying he looked like he inked a 12 million euro deal for 2 years, which is pretty high, I would say, for Yamaha. Honda is one of the few manufacturers that, I mean, they paid Mark Marquez. I can't say they paid everybody else. But Ducati went out and spent a bag of money on Lorenzo, but they don't normally do that as well. And so it seems like it's a good amount of money, for 2 year deal. But do you think it's money, or do you think they're sorting out the bike?
Well, compared to what he got, well, what they shown that he was getting, I mean, it's kind of like double the money. And compared to what Aprilia was gonna offer him, uh, Yamaha was offering more. So I think it has to do with the money. Um, but just for 2 years, I'm sure things will develop. As they got more contingencies now to do so. So hopefully, with the money they're giving them, they can help develop the bike. But I think it's also the money.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I did see that Aprilia offered like 4 mil. I don't. Again, we don't know how true these numbers are.
Yeah.
It'll be. Mark Marquez took a significant pay cut to win championship, to try to win a championship, right? And so and he has 8 of them, right? So um, you know it, I don't know. The money's nice. Um, the Yamaha, it's. I mean, it's what close to the top 10, top 8, top 10 this the last couple of rounds so far. So if it's just the money, I don't know what that season, how long that you can, the money's gonna make you happy, right? Because I gotta assume you got well over 39 races left or something like that, 38 races, give or take. If he finish outside the top 10 at the end of the year and he hasn't started his new contract yet, you think he's gonna be happy, um, even though he has the money?
No, I don't. I mean, it's just like I'm just thinking like if he, what all said and done, like you said, Mark took a pay cut, but they have an established team with Yamaha and Fabio, I'm sure. And to not be satisfied with your results with Yamaha and jump to a different manufacturer for a pay cut, hoping to win a championship. I don't know. I don't know. It's a
It's
risky
it's
deal. I don't know. Like Aprilia, if that's the place that he would go, I mean, are they better than Yamaha that much? Uh,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't know.
to go back to your point before, I think that it is risky to jump on a new team, to try to jump on a new team to try to win a championship, and so I do feel that, I don't know if there was even a thought. Maybe it was the media just throwing it out there that he was going to even entertain other manufacturers. Uh, but I've talked about this in the past. There's something about loyalty, right? Because Yamaha gave Fabio his chance, and well, the satellite team, right? And it was just, I don't know if I forget who it was now, Petronas at the time. I don't know if, from my understanding of them, watching a race, and one of the guys is also like, how about this guy who I think he did well in, I think Quartararo did well in Assen in Moto 2, and just on that they gave him a shot, right? And I think if that didn't happen, I don't know if he might have made it to MotoGP. In all honesty, because he really wasn't on the radar like that, and I don't think any one of us took him, like he would be a contender, like he would be a world champion right now, type of thing. I mean, you look at other riders that has come and gone in MotoGP as well. So I think there's some loyalty there for Quartararo to stay with Yamaha, because they gave him a chance, and they stuck with him. And also, there's something about what you see what Rossi's doing with Yamaha and stuff like that. They're building that longevity when it comes to brand building, right? So
Yeah.
I think Marquez has a slight chance of kind of messing up his longevity as far as being able to, push out, a Honda gear, or a Mark Marquez CBR 1000 SP or whatever kind of thing. Like we see what Rossi's doing right now and stuff like that. So he may not need it, Marquez, if he does really well in Ducati. But if he doesn't, if he has like a Lorenzo kind of thing with Ducati, then it's like Lorenzo don't really have a place. I mean, what I'm saying, Rossi got more titles than him as far as when it comes to Yamaha. So Yamaha is going to lean towards Rossi, I think, before Lorenzo at the end of the day, and what Rossi's done to the sport. So I think there's some of that for Quartararo to say, okay, I can build my brand. And I got to figure that the Yamaha is going to get quick again. I don't think it's something that they're going to be stuck for 10 years in this situation kind of thing. I think they're going to figure that out pretty quickly. So money doesn't hurt, but I think if you think about your career long term, it's nice to be. You see what they do with what Carl Fogarty and Troy Bayliss and some of these other guys that they do one-off bikes for and stuff like that, and that kind of thing. So um, I hope it was, more like the loyalty side of things, because that makes more sense than to be chasing titles, especially, he's still pretty young.
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Um, Obviously, the money does help, and I mean, just because of the loyalty, and I'm sure that he'll be even more loyal as future to come. But like you said, you want to work on your own brand. You come in and you want to win a championship, and he's done it. So your focus is on winning the championship, probably not on yourself. It's for your team. And if you keep going and not winning, um, you lose pretty much yourself basically. So what a better time to know that he's gonna be in
Right.
MotoGP. He's got a seat, so he can help market himself and still focus on trying to win at the same time.
Right.
But
Yeah. It may just
loyalty, I think, is a big part.
right. It may just be a have fun year for him this year.
Yeah.
But he has Rins on his team, and I don't know. We don't know the backstory of Quattararo and Morbidelli, but it seems like there was just it doesn't seem like they vibed, right? I've never got I haven't got an impression that you hear Pecco talk about his teammates in the past and stuff like that. You hear other guys talk about their teammates. Quattararo, when he always spoke of Morbidelli, because Quattararo was winning more at that time and was getting interviewed more and that kind of thing, it and Morbidelli was going through his tough times. I don't know if he didn't know how to handle the media or whatever, but some things he said kind of, if I was Morbidelli, I would have felt a little bit away about it, that kind of thing. And I know, so I never really felt like they kind of hung out together and have fun together. Where I think Rins and Quartararo get along much better, from just what we've seen, in press conferences and stuff like that. So I think having Rins as a teammate, I don't know if he's going to be there for 2025, but probably will be, because he's also doing fairly well as well on that on the Yamaha. I think they probably going to have fun this year and hopefully just try to figure out the bike as best as possible. If that bike finishes in the top 8, that's progress for them.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, when you have a teammate, especially, you want to push each other. Obviously, there's probably one better than the other, but you want to do things together, push each other, and try to develop the team aspect as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
It's good for it's
I
good for
forgot lots of
say again.
no, lots of I forgot what one
Oh,
of the things
you
you
totally
mentioned.
agree that Rins and
Yeah,
Quattararo have a better relationship,
right.
in
So
public than Quattararo did with Morbidelli.
yeah, I also think that Renz, um, like you said, he's a great rider. He's been on this is his third manufacturer in like 3 years.
Right.
And he's won, even on the last one. So I think he's gonna have a great chance and to push Fabio this season.
Right.
And like I don't know who might get the podium first. That's pretty big. It would be interesting, but uh,
I before we jump into Coda, I will say, since you brought it up, I would probably say Rins because he's going to Coda.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And when Rins is up front, he just like knows what to do.
Right. Yeah,
But
yeah.
when he's in the back, it's I don't know. It's just something's obviously wrong. I mean, obviously the bike's not a Ducati, but um, when he's front running, you just gotta pay attention to him. You know, he surprised a couple riders running up front and taking the win.
Well,
Not just at Coda, but other places.
and when he was on Suzuki, and
Right.
there was a lot of times he was up front and he crashed out. A lot of times he was up front,
Oh
he
yeah,
crashed out. I mean,
yeah.
I know Pecco had a crash out year in 2022. I think yeah, we're at now. But man, Rins would have some more wins under his belt, at least maybe 4 or 5 wins under his belt that he crashed out in the leading the race or second or third place.
Funny thing is when I first started, basically when I was really getting into MotoGP, this was the year Rins crashed out a lot. And I was just like, this guy, man, what is wrong with him? But come to find out, he's actually a really good rider, and he brings a good spirit. And I think that the Yamaha team hopefully will have a more solid year than last year.
Yeah, I will say I think the Yamaha this year is a better bike than the Honda last year, and so
Yeah,
far. And he was able to win on the Honda last year, and so I think he has a better bike going into Coda this year. Better turning bike, probably similar to the Suzuki. So you know, yeah, I think he has a pretty good shot. So yeah,
yes,
so yeah, I think Rings has a pretty good shot at winning Coda this year. You know what I mean? Where and like I said, he was on a better bike. He's on a better bike this year than he was last year. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. The weekend coming up, which is it's going to be here really soon. There's a lot of MotoGP guys already in California, Miami. They're checking out the states as we're talking.
oh yeah. I mean, we finally got a race in United States. I mean, we always have it once a year, but it's here now, and I like to see like my guy Jack Miller. Um,
Yeah, so you got the
he
hat.
uh, he always has a fun time when he's at Coda. So um, no matter what result he ends up in, but I'm rooting for him as well. But we know it's gonna be so it's like another big story. Like it's not just another race. There's so many uh, stories that are behind this race that people want to see.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mark winning 7 times. This could be his eighth, and we got people running for championships, and it's gonna be a good one. Nice long track, and can't wait. Hopefully the weather turns out well.
Right now, what do you what are your expectations, or what do you who do you think? I mean, we've already said Marquez, we've already said Rins as far as winning, but what other riders have a pretty good shot at this thing in Austin?
We know Pecco for sure. I think the last time he crashed out in the lead. But Pecco for sure. Hopefully his teammate Bastianini.
Bastianini finished
Will
on the podium last year.
So I think yeah, that would be another front runner right there. That would be rubbing elbows, trying to stay up in the front.
Right, right. So,
Oh, these tires be wearing on this track too. So
right
eh,
now, so you're thinking Pecco, Martin, not Martin, Bastianini. Um,
yeah, I mean, if we're talking GP race, I would say um, Pecco, Bastianini, and then I think Mark will be up there too.
right. Now, do you think that Pecco forgot about the last weekend? You think that's behind? Do you think
We know
he's going to be kind of a little nervous?
No, no.
No.
We know Pecco.
Mhm.
He's I, we think he's matured past that
Past that,
from
it's no.
from the years past, the mistakes he was making, where you just gotta let it go and just go out there and focus and let it rip. You
Right,
know,
right.
I don't think he's worried about that.
And do you think that he, okay, we'll see, because I'm not sure. It's. I mean, I do believe that Martin is. I don't know if he's. I wouldn't call it pressure yet, but I think if Martin does well in Coda, um, I think there might be some pressure. I don't know if he will do well because I do think DeMarquez, the Rins, I do even feel like Bezecchi's probably going to be up there, as you said, Bastianini. Um, you know, I I don't have memory of Martin doing well at Coda, or so I don't, to my knowledge. You know what I mean? I'd have to look, but I don't think so. So I can't really say here's a track that he's been on the podium already at and stuff like that. So because I think even one year he might have missed it when he broke all his bones, 9 bones or whatever. So I don't know how much time he's gotten in Coda, but I don't know if he'll run up front. But if he does, I think Pecco might be a little, I don't know if I get worried, but because at the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen is he doesn't win another world title, right? That's the worst thing
The
that can
reason
happen.
the reason why I don't think he's worried, and I don't want to bring up like old races, but last year, at Catalunya when he fell off the bike in first place, basically almost got ran over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that was traumatizing. I mean, he finished strong after that. Um, and we can go back to our last race, Portimao, where Martin has crashed on that track, and he finished first. Now we talk about Morbidelli, who had a bad uh, winter test. He didn't do too well, but I think Pecco, that incident is well past him because it was last year.
Yep.
Um, Everything is new, so yeah, I don't think it'll be much of a distraction unless it comes down to the cues where he is like third row or something,
Right.
where he has to fight through the field, and now he has to be worried because you're in the pack. Can't break loose, and now you got to worry about other riders
Right.
till you get to the front.
Yeah. And we say all this, and we've mentioned already like 6, 7 riders. What about them boys on the KTM? I mean, they
I mean,
third, fourth, and fifth last round. I mean, Pedro didn't need it. Miller definitely. Brad probably had a little bit of slide, but a little bit of time because he's been doing fairly well so far at the beginning of the season. What do you think they're going to be? This
this
week, this coming weekend.
like this is what makes the thrill of it because I just feel like how dare I forget Brad Binder? I mean, he's running in second place right now in points, and
Right.
this is like his year. You know what I mean? Like back when he would just never get on the podium. He was always finishing like six or lower. And ever since that rain race where he stayed on the track,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and slicks and won, I mean, felt like he's gotten a little boost. But I think I think they're gonna be up there. I mean, I know I said who I think will be up front, but yeah, I think Brad Binder for sure. I mean, I hope that we know Acosta's gonna push. So I mean, hopefully he can manage the tires well.
Right.
And then hopefully same with Jack Miller. But out of those three, I think, as we know, Brad Bender will probably be at least top five, and hopefully probably win the sprint because he loves the sprint.
That he does. And it's interesting because the KTM, they like we've been saying, since the beginning of the season, even before the season, they're starting to distinguish themselves as the closest, and they did it a little bit last year as well as the closest manufacturer to Ducati, and so to see them, you know doing really well. All the riders except for Fernandez. I feel bad for him because it's a cutthroat thing, and he's not no longer a rookie. And his teammate has more points than him, and he's the rookie. So outside of that KTM, all those other guys are outside, they either crashing out or in a top eight.
Right. I mean, yeah, this is like I said, a long track. It's basically a 2 minute lap, and we'll see if they can hang on, because everyone's gonna be chasing Mark Marquez. Like you said last year, Mark had an incident where something happened with his start, and he ended up in the back of the pack, and he was able to push his way through pretty wildly, but he, finished I think top five. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting race. Can't wait to see what the KTM's and at least the KTM's do. We
Right.
know what the Ducatis and will be doing out there.
Exactly. And now let's go to
There's so
the Aprilia
yeah.
boys. All right, so let's talk about the Aprilia boys and the Aprilia manufacturer as a whole, because now that Quartararo has signed back with Yamaha, um, somebody, one of those riders, know they're gonna lose a seat for next year, right?
Yeah, I mean, somebody's gonna lose the seat, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, now that there's a contract, like Fabio signed, who do you think?
Who do I think is gonna lose their seat?
Yeah,
Um, I think that Vinales will keep his seat. I think they'll sign him for next year. I don't know what they're going to do about Aleix, because I think as a loyalty standpoint, they'll probably give him a 1 year deal if he wants to stay. They'll probably give him a 1 year deal if he wants it, because it's just he was with them when they were horrible, and he crashed a gazillion amount of times, and so I think they'll give him 1 more year if he wants it. And he's in great shape, so there's no reason why not to. I do believe that Raul Fernandez, is in trouble, and also Oliveira to a degree. But even though Oliveira was no fault of his own, just getting taken out so much last year and stuff like that. So I don't know if the new owners will give him a chance or they want a fresh start. And you know, it is possible that Trackhouse might want an American rider in MotoGP, and Joe Roberts is doing really well right now for Moto2, who happens to, be American. So I think if Roberts have a good year, finishes top 8, 7, I think Trackhouse will probably give him one of those seats.
I just wanted to hear your opinion first. I think, like Aleix said, that he was gonna be done at 35. I don't know. Maybe this would be the last year, because I don't know. Do you think they would want a new factory rider? Maybe push Miguel, or if Miguel can have a better year, push him.
Right. I think
And then,
not to cut you
like
off,
you said,
but
bring the American.
if Miguel is, you know, if Miguel wins a couple of races this year and finishes up there close to Vinales, it's possible. I mean, he's riding. It's only 2 rounds. I don't want to say he's riding better than Raul right now, because he didn't do well at his home Grand Prix. So, I don't know. I mean, but I do think one of those seats, maybe both those seats, could be up for grab. And like we said earlier on, there's going to be a lot of riders that are fighting to get a contract for next season. And we know one guy's coming in already from Moto2, and possibly two guys is coming in from Moto2. So that means two people got to go. Maybe one, definitely two. We know one has to go already. So, and KTM, they did well by Polo Spargro, by keeping him for another year as a backup rider and stuff like that. I don't know if Aprilia is going to want to do that. You know what I mean? I can see them keeping on Aleix as a test rider if he wants it, but he probably still wants to compete. But you know, I can see that happening. He becomes a test rider, which makes perfect sense. But you know, Aprilia they're in a tough position because they also do have some other young riders. I mean, you could look at Lopez. I mean, they could bring Lopez in but if Lopez got to he you know these guys in Moto 2 got to show they got to ride smarter or make smart decisions, I should say, on the racetrack. Because if they want to get into MotoGP, right? Because Lopez has the opportunity because he does have this skill, but some of his decision making is making him. It's not that he ain't fast. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. The Aprilia is either gonna have to do a fresh start. Like I said, they also in a tough spot because they I don't know if they're the manufacturer that has the most problems throughout the year, but they also have a lot of uh not the rider problems, it's like,
Mechanical, yeah, a lot of mechanical,
mechanical
right?
problems, and that's some issues they like, do you want to just say this is a bad rider, we need a new
Right, right.
uh
Yeah,
rider, and you still have mechanical problems. And I don't know if like Miguel and all of them have is the best data like Aleix has and stuff like that. I don't know how that works with the satellite teams, but
right.
um,
From my understanding,
they're in a tough spot.
yeah, from my understanding, the European teams do a lot a better job at sharing data and stuff like that. But yeah, you know Aprilia has had a lot of a lot of mechanical problems, and that's definitely killed Aleix and killed well all of them. All these guys
Already this year.
have yeah all of them had pitted early for mechanical.
Yeah, already
In
this year.
yeah, yeah. So and I know like that one race that Vinales did really well in. Apparently, whatever clutch they used was illegal, so they couldn't use it. And so that's so they had to. I mean, and I think they're still trying to sort out the clutch issue. From my understanding, maybe there's other issues as well. But you know, that's a tough. You know, it's weird because we just accept not accept but we just accept Yamaha and Honda being bad bikes. We're not like what's wrong, what's this, what's that, but like you know where the Aprilias is kind of like they kind of know what's wrong, and it's kind of you know it's interesting because they haven't found a workaround for it yet or a fix for it yet, and that's because really it sounds like it may be a couple of pieces that's really stopping that bike to being you know more consistent.
I don't know what it is. It's always seems like some with the gearbox, obviously. I mean, like last year, Maverick's chain popped off.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, like this race two, he was last lap literally, and he couldn't shift in out of gears. Like
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, we know that all the bikes have their mistakes, but these are like crucial ones.
Yep.
Like you can't ride without a chain.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, you
So
can't shift. Like you got no drive.
right.
It's like
I don't know what's better, crashing out on a Honda or having mechanical on Aprilia.
uh, I'll go with the mechanical.
Yeah. So far, because they've all been okay.
Right?
uh,
Except for Maverick had a little freak accident at the end. I don't know. He flipped
yeah,
off
but
the bike.
he got up and
But
walked though. That's the best.
right?
That's the good part. But no, it's tricky. And you know, go back to your point about you know riders coming in. I think the young riders coming in realize there's not a lot of seat. I think what happened with the riders that in Moto 2 around the time that Aprilia was trying to bring people in, and riders was like, no, your bike is awful. We're not going. They didn't say that exactly, but you know, we're not going essentially, right? And I don't think that's going to happen again. You know what I mean? I don't because I think that you know Aprilia sorted out the problem and things got better. So I think all those riders and even Aleix called them out. I think last year or the year before on it. You know, all these riders didn't want to come. Look now, you know that kind of thing. So I don't think that's going to happen again, even if they have mechanical. Uh, but you know, so we'll see. I think like you know, go back to the Aprilia guys they have to get I guess they have to get a little bit of a pass if most of if a good amount of their races They have DNFs on because of mechanical. I think they're going to have to get a pass. Uh,
Right.
and then that's just me on the sideline saying that, but I think so. Versus, is it them can't find that extra ingredient that they need to get to the next level? I think if something like that, then you can get rid of Ryder.
Yeah, they'll probably measure that, but then they'll say, "All right, let's look at the races you have finished and determine that way." But I don't know. There's like we say, Ducati's in a hot seat, but they're in a better position. Like Aprilia still has a lot to figure out. I mean, like you said, they're also in a hot seat because Aleix stated that he doesn't want to race after 35. And what is he, 34 or
Yeah,
33?
this would be his last year if he decides to retire. If he's
Yeah.
holding on to what he said.
So I mean, do they make that decision for him? Like, all right, you're cut, or like for him to decide. So yeah, they're in a tough spot. But yeah, hope for the best, and we'll see what this Coda can bring to him.
Exactly.
Let's see
Yeah.
what these four riders can do.
Yeah.
I know Maverick's gonna be out there fighting. So
Definitely. I think so. I mean, I think I forget what how
Leash too.
yeah, I forget how he did last year. I gotta check, but um, those Aprilia guys, they're gonna have to sort it out, and I don't know how much time they have for that. Aprilia in general is gonna have to sort it out because they probably could move people around. Honda is not gonna move many people around. Luca got a 2-year deal. Zarco got a 2-year deal. So it's Mir and this Taka Nakagami. I do believe unless one of the Japanese riders in Moto 2 have a standout year, I don't see Takanakagami going anywhere because it seems like that side of the Honda garage is going to keep a Japanese rider.
Right. I mean, can't blame them. I mean, you got to keep the legacy going. I mean, I want to see him at least get on the podium once.
I agree.
But,
I agree. It would be nice to see him get on the
but
pole. He did get pole once, twice, I believe, and and so yeah, same thing. I mean, he's had you know, bad luck with the Honda as well. I mean, there was times when he was running well and crashed out, and he's. I think most of his seat time on the Honda is in the troubled times. So he hasn't really had a good bike like Marquez had once upon a time. You know what I mean?
yeah, probably just waiting for Gore to develop, and when it's time, transfer over. I don't know if that's how their process worked, but yeah, I was bringing up the results from last year. So Alex Rins actually won.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. On the Honda.
Luca Marini, Fabio, and Maverick finished fourth.
Right. So yeah. So Maverick got a chance. So Fabio's on the duck. He got a chance. I don't see
Miguel finished
Marini.
fifth.
Huh?
Miguel finished fifth.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun weekend. I don't know what the weather is going to be like yet. So it'll definitely be interesting to see. I'm gonna be glued to my computer screen, my TV screen. As lucky, I'm not racing this weekend or going anywhere. So you know, what I mean, it's just gonna be real. Just watching, and it's U.S. time. So I'm just an hour behind from us.
That's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
They also the press conference they're going to be talking about the switchover, so it's going to be interesting to stay tuned for.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, and that deal did happen between F1 and MotoGP Dona. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, man. I was watching a little bit of Formula One over the weekend, so it's going to be interesting to see what happened. I think it's going to be good for motorcycle, for MotoGP in general. I think these folks are in the business of entertainment and making the best spectacle they can make of the event. So, fingers crossed it'll go well, and it's only going to get better.
hey, I'm in it for the better.
Right.
And we got all these exciting riders, and I mean, got to make it an exciting time for the spectators. I'm enjoying it. The only thing, like I said, I don't like is the news that they hide. from us. The details that we want to know.
Oh, got you. Yeah, you know how that go.
But
Before we jump off of MotoGP, we need to really talk about the Honda riders. I mean, I think we covered everyone else. Hey, we talked about Taka Nakagami a little bit now. But Mir, Luca, Isarko, um, I mean, I think they all finished in the bottom. The top, the bottom four, bottom fifth of the last round. I think they know they're in it for the long haul. Um, what do you
just
got
want
there?
Luca
Anything?
Marini to do good, man.
Say again.
I mean, Luca Marini's new factory team. Um, he got all the support behind him. Obviously, he's a great rider. I want to see him do good. Like I said, last year he finished pretty well in this track, and as far as Joan Mir goes, like I just wanted to see him get points. Like last year was pretty devastating. I mean, out of 20 races or 21, you finished maybe two or three. That's for a team manager. I don't want to see that.
Right.
I need you to finish, even though the bike's probably not in good shape. But yeah, I want to see him do well. I don't know how much fighting they can put up with what we got with the Ducatis and all that up front, but hopefully at least them two can put something together. And yeah, the other Honda boys like Taka, we'll see.
Yeah,
I know
it's
he comes out and fight in when it comes down to qualifying or practice. He's always up there in the top times until everyone figures things out, and uh, they're always off by a second anyway. But
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do. I think the summer break will be a good indicator of where those boys are. And how frustrated they are with the process or the bike or whatever. I think when by the time summer break we'll see that because they're gonna have a lot of riding in by then, and if it's if I think like Zarco, who I think those guys are like Zarco, right? And Zarco, when he went to KTM, and KTM wasn't like the Yamaha because he did well on the Yamaha. When he went to KTM, he wasn't doing well, and he left. Right? He's just like, I don't want your money. I can't take your money. This is, and so when you're a young rider, you want to win. You want to be you want to be on a team that's winning. You want to be if you're in basketball or any sport, especially if you got talent, right? If you're one of the top guys or gals, right? You don't want to be on a rebuild team. You know what I mean? And Zarko, now that he's older, he's like, I'm more mature. It's like I could he could have stayed 1 year. He had the option to stay 1 year with Ducati, but he wanted this future a little bit more secure. He's okay, building the bike and bringing it back and stuff like that. Versus just I want to win now. So those young guys, they want to win now. And so even though I mean in Luca's case, I think and Zarco, but Zarco's older. In Luca's case, I hope he has that Zen mentality of Zarco where he's just going to come do his job and continue to do his job because if he does, he'll probably get another 2 year deal on the factory team if he's just doing his job. But if he gets disgruntled, because again, look, no one likes being in last place. I don't care even if you're racing around your house. You know what I'm saying? It's
of
like no,
course,
no one wants to be in last place for very long, and so
I'm gonna run it back.
exactly. So you know what I'm saying. So I hope that in Mir's case, I don't. Where's I mean, it's interesting because I mean he's a world champion. He could go to Aprilia, maybe. But other than that, where would he go? Like he would have to stay with Honda.
I mean, that's gonna have to try to develop something there. Like you said, Luca Marini. Good thing that I know Rossi's is by his side too. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And the VR 46 Academy squad.
yeah. But Zarko, he shocks me every time. He always got the fight in him, even doesn't look like it. It seems like he knows how to save his tires. I think sometimes he does it too much. where he'll start creeping up late in the race and make his way to the front.
Yeah, when he was on it,
Uh,
when he was on a Ducati.
yes, I guess he's trying to keep that technique, and it's not working or
Yeah,
something. I don't
because
know.
him and Bastianini did that very well. Managed their tires well, and the last 10 laps on the move, and significant difference. But yeah, so who I don't know. We'll see how it plays out for the year. I'm a fan of all those guys, and I really hope that Honda gets it together because imagine if you know Honda, KTM, Aprilia, and Ducati. I mean, all the manufacturers really. I don't want to knock Yamaha or anything like that. And all of them. If all these bikes are running well, I mean, imagine like the competition is going to be even more fierce. So
Check.
it's in the best interest for Honda and Yamaha. It's in our best interest for Honda and Yamaha and Aprilia to do well because we see what it's like when there's 8 bikes and the 8 top riders, and we see what that looked like last year and this year, and now we got KTM in the mix more than ever before. I mean, it's still early in the season, but more than ever before. So it'll be nice when because when it was just Honda and Yamaha, them Rossi days and then Marquez days. It was, Pedrosa, Marquez, Lorenzo, Rossi. Now you're calling everybody.
Everybody, it's you roll the dice. Who's gonna win?
So I definitely from the diehard fans, the diehard Yamaha people and Honda people and stuff like that. Yeah, they I like the riders. I like all bikes. You know what I mean? I don't, so I like seeing the competition, and it's always nice when some people don't like a level playing field, but when all the machines are similar and all that, and then it's just up to the riders, and then you see it's I don't know how to you just see something different, you know what I'm saying, because it's just it's like poetry in motion. It's like music. You see it when the Ducati guys are battling and nobody's having to overbrake. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's to have to really push to the limit to get drive or whatever. Now they're riding smarter. They're playing more chess. You know what I'm saying? And so imagine when there's more manufacturers doing this, and you got like you know 14, 15
That's what I want.
guys battling for the top 5 positions, and not just in certain tracks. That's when it's fun
Exactly. I
as
mean,
to watch.
and that's why I want to see. Uh, you know, we know Ducatis and the KTM's is on the rise. We want to see Yamaha and especially Honda do better. But case in point, I know it's only been two races, four, 2 rounds, 4 races. But looking at the standings, the Honda team, Luca Marini has 0 points.
Right,
Goose egg. We go to Taka, he has 2.
right.
Then we go to Zarco, has 5. And then Juan Mir got 7.
Okay, all right. That's not
Not bad, but
that's actually not bad. It's not great for sure, but at least they're in the
like
points.
I mean, that's way at the bottom. I mean, there's a lot of people that's in the teens and the 20s, but I just hoping that I mean Honda will have a solid weekend, where they can finish in contention at least. I don't know.
Listen, me and you both. I do
Want
hope
some
so.
competition out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I do. Like I said, I'm a fan of me. I'm a fan of all those guys on the Honda, and it'll be one thing if they're recovering from an injury or mentally something's going on or whatever the case may be. But like when you already know your bike isn't good, you already know before you even like you're flying into you're in wherever you are in the U.S. or the world right now. You already know like, man, it's gonna be a long one. You
Like,
already know it.
when the Honda goes down, it's like we're getting used to it. We're like, oh, it's a Honda,
Yeah.
you know.
So, and
So
granted, they do have Rins from last year, Coda. So one of those Hondas should do well. One of those riders, and I say it's between Zarco and Luca. I would say, I think they got the best chance at Coda.
for Luca,
Yeah. So,
But
But look,
yeah, I can't wait.
okay,
Can't wait. Couple days.
no doubt, man.
Guess, guess
Can't wait
the
as
weather
well.
here. Should
So
look up the weather there. See the forecast for Texas.
forecast indeed. So it'll be interesting to see what happened. I'm looking forward to it. You got Moto 2 and Moto 3 happening. And I think we're out of time for to talk about those on this episode, but we're definitely gonna get caught up on Moto 2, Moto 3. Like I said at the beginning of the show, we're gonna definitely start talking about some of these other countries as well, because there's a lot of racing going on around the world, and a lot of riders that are coming up, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
There's
No doubt. So,
so many races around the world. British, Australian,
oh yeah, man.
American, all over.
I can't
And
wait. Got all my
not only that,
subscriptions.
the young ones
Yeah.
just developing. It's just so cool to see these little kids or young adults uh, get the craft, because it's not easy.
No doubt. No doubt.
Not easy.
So on that note, let's shout out the sponsors, man.
Yeah, I always want to thank J&G Performance, Hideaway Rentals, Woodcraft Technologies, and Vortex for
No
their
doubt.
support.
No doubt. Go check them out and go spend some money. Shout out to HY Clothing, Hamden Yard. Go to hamdenyard.com. Get your latest gear. Go to Workbench Technology. All your tech questions, all your tech problems, you can get resolved. Shout out to Eli Block. He's getting ready for the Motor America series.
Yeah.
Go to our B4evaKool page and check out the image and donate some money to Eli to get him through this race season, because racing is expensive and any little bit helps. My name is Rex45.
My name is TJ with 2 L's and coffee.
Peace.
Peace.